All right, Raiders fans, let's dive deep into the latest developments surrounding our Las Vegas Raiders. It has been a turbulent season, and there's a lot to unpack when it comes to the dynamics between the coaching staff and the front office. One thing that has become increasingly clear is that the person responsible for the roster and the long-term building strategy is not fully aligned with the coaching staff on several key decisions. This disconnect is evident when we look back at the draft moves and the roster adjustments that have been made so far. The decisions surrounding player acquisitions, trades, and how the coaching staff has utilized the talent at their disposal show a certain level of misalignment. There are reports suggesting that at the end of this season, the Raiders might consider moving on from Pete Carroll, while John SBYCH remains largely respected and his role as general manager is seen as stable. This situation highlights the complex interplay between strategic long-term planning and immediate coaching decisions. Over the past weeks, information has surfaced suggesting that the front office and the coaching staff were not on the same page regarding the trade of wide receiver Jacoby Myers. The coaching staff was in favor of keeping him, aiming to compete for wins even though the team's record stood at 2-6 at that point, whereas the front office prioritized maximizing the value of draft picks, given that Myers' contract was nearing its end. This internal disagreement sheds light on the differing philosophies between managing for the future and trying to secure victories in the present. It also underscores how leaks within an organization can reveal internal tensions, whether coming from a player, coach, or member of the front office. Speaking of internal decisions, Brock Bowers' PCL injury has been a significant topic of discussion. The Raiders' coaching staff allowed him to play for multiple weeks despite the injury, which affected his performance on the field. Comparisons to other players with similar injuries in the league, such as a wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers, reveal that the standard approach is to prioritize recovery and avoid aggravating the injury. Yet, Bowers was kept active, which led to underwhelming performances, and the narrative around the situation was shifted to suggest that he was unwilling to rest, when in reality, it was the coaching decision that kept him in play. This mismanagement of player health has been a point of contention, reflecting larger questions about coaching strategies and decision-making processes within the Raiders organization. Similarly, the handling of rookie guard Caleb Rogers has drawn criticism. Reports indicate that the staff initially intended to start him, but opted against it after practice struggles, which led to suboptimal line performance and a loss of offensive efficiency. This situation mirrors the broader theme of questionable coaching decisions impacting player utilization and game outcomes. The tendency to place responsibility on players or present excuses for coaching decisions has raised concerns among fans and analysts alike. Adding to the complexity, there have been issues with player roles, such as Jamal Adams expressing a preference to play safety rather than linebacker, but being assigned to a position that does not align with his strengths. These scenarios highlight the rigidity in coaching philosophy and how it can sometimes conflict with optimizing player performance. The ongoing tension between coaching strategies and front office objectives suggests that the Raiders may be approaching a crossroads, with potential changes in leadership or strategic direction being considered to realign the team's approach. In addition to internal challenges, upcoming matchups pose their own set of difficulties. Quarterback Shador Sanders is expected to start against the Raiders, and his style of play, including tendencies to retreat under pressure, presents a unique challenge for the defensive squad. While there is an opportunity for the Raiders to capitalize on this matchup, success will depend heavily on execution, particularly against a Browns defense that has demonstrated dominance, with players like Myles Garrett delivering game-changing performances. The Raiders' offensive line situation, with Stone Forsythe at left tackle and questions around other positions, further complicates the game plan, making the upcoming contests a true test of both strategy and resilience. The broader narrative for the Raiders in the 2025 season is one of inconsistency and difficult decision-making, from coaching strategies to player management and the balance between long-term planning and short-term competitiveness. Fans have witnessed the impacts of these choices firsthand, whether through underperforming games, controversial player utilization, or injury management that has drawn criticism from various corners. The tension between John SBYCH's front office approach and Pete Carroll's coaching philosophy is emblematic of the challenges that arise when leadership is not unified, and the need for alignment becomes crucial for any hope of sustained success. From trade decisions like Jacoby Myers to injuries like Brock Bowers' PCL issue and rookie development challenges with players such as Caleb Rogers, the Raiders season has been a case study in the importance of coherent strategy, communication, and leadership in professional football. Every decision, from player positioning to roster management, has far-reaching consequences that can determine not only the outcome of individual games, but also the trajectory of the team over the entire season. As the Raiders navigate through these hurdles, fans are closely watching how leadership responds, whether the front office can assert strategic vision, and how the coaching staff adapts to ensure that player health, performance, and long-term team objectives are balanced. The evolving situation surrounding the Raiders encapsulates the intricacies of managing a professional football team, where internal disagreements, injuries, roster adjustments, and game-time decisions all intertwine to shape the overall narrative of the season. Every move, every trade, and every injury carries a story, and understanding these layers helps fans make sense of the wins, losses, and controversies that define the current state of the Las Vegas Raiders. The 2025 season continues to challenge expectations, and with matchups against formidable opponents and internal recalibrations underway, the Raiders' path forward is filled with both uncertainty and potential opportunities for growth. Decisions about leadership, player development, and strategic direction will define the remainder of the season and possibly set the tone for the years to come. Continuing with the latest insights on the Las Vegas Raiders, the situation surrounding the team's roster and coaching strategies continues to evolve, painting a picture of an organization in transition. As the season progresses, the inconsistencies on the field mirror the disagreements behind the scenes, highlighting the tension between immediate coaching priorities and the long-term vision set by the front office. One of the key themes that has emerged is the handling of player development and positioning, which has become a focal point for criticism from fans and analysts alike. The case of Jamal Adams, who has expressed a preference to play safety instead of linebacker, serves as a microcosm of this issue. The coaching staff's insistence on deploying him in a role that does not align with his natural skill set has not only impacted his performance, but also sparked debates about flexibility and adaptability in coaching philosophy. Similarly, rookie players like Caleb Rogers have faced challenges in finding their footing due to decisions made in practice and game day planning. Reports suggest that the coaching staff initially aimed to start him, but subsequent struggles in practice led to alternative selections, which ultimately affected offensive line stability and team performance. These examples emphasize how crucial it is for the coaching staff to balance player readiness, potential, and strategic requirements while maintaining open communication with the front office. The internal dynamics of the Raiders are further complicated by the differing perspectives on trades and acquisitions. The front office, led by John SBYCH, has emphasized the importance of long-term planning, seeking value through draft picks and roster flexibility, while the coaching staff, led by Pete Carroll, has often prioritized immediate competitiveness, even if that meant retaining players who might not fit into future plans. This divide has been highlighted by the trade discussions surrounding wide receiver Jacoby Myers. The coaching staff wanted to keep Myers to maintain a competitive edge despite the team's 2-6 record, whereas the front office pushed for a trade to gain future assets, illustrating the strategic tug-of-war that exists within the organization. Beyond internal politics, the Raiders have faced challenges on the field due to injuries, notably the handling of Brock Bowers' PCL injury. The decision to keep him playing despite his condition affected his performance and raised questions about player safety protocols. Comparisons to other players with similar injuries show that most teams prioritize recovery, suggesting that the Raiders' approach may have been overly aggressive or poorly managed. The communication around Bowers' injury, which attempted to shift responsibility onto the player rather than acknowledging coaching decisions, underscores a recurring issue in narrative control within the organization. Another aspect influencing performance has been the team's quarterback matchups, particularly with Shador Sanders expected to start against the Raiders. Observations from previous games highlight his tendencies to retreat under pressure and hold the ball too long, challenging the Raiders' defense to adapt and respond effectively. Preparing for Sanders requires not only tactical adjustments, but also mental readiness, as the defensive unit must anticipate his movements while leveraging opportunities to disrupt his rhythm. At the same time, the offensive squad faces its own set of challenges, with key positions like left tackle filled by Stone Forsythe and questions surrounding depth and experience in the line. The success of the Raiders' offense will depend heavily on cohesion, timing, and the ability of players to execute under pressure, particularly when facing a formidable Browns defense led by Myles Garrett, whose recent sack totals have been extraordinary. These on-field challenges are intertwined with a broader organizational story, as the alignment between the coaching staff and the front office will influence decisions on veteran players and contract renewals. Discussions suggest that the Raiders may consider moving on from some short-term contracts or reevaluating the roles of certain players to reset the team's trajectory. Names like Jeremy Chinn and Isaiah Palmau are part of these considerations, as the organization seeks to balance talent, potential, and strategic fit. The overarching narrative of the Raiders' 2025 season revolves around adaptation and the struggle to find equilibrium between competing priorities. Fans witness the consequences of these decisions in real time, whether through unexpected losses, underwhelming performances, or the handling of injuries and player roles. Each game provides a lens through which the effectiveness of coaching decisions, front office strategy, and player execution can be assessed, offering insights into the long-term direction of the franchise. Leadership decisions, from trades to coaching assignments, have ripple effects across the entire team, influencing morale, development, and overall competitiveness. As the season progresses, the Raiders' ability to integrate young talent, manage injuries, and optimize the performance of key players will be pivotal. The front office's focus on strategic foresight, particularly in securing draft picks and long-term assets, must be balanced against the coaching staff's immediate goals of winning games and maintaining team cohesion. The tension between these objectives creates a dynamic narrative that impacts not only the outcomes on the field, but also the perception of the organization among fans and analysts. Evaluating the Raiders' performance requires considering multiple layers of decision-making, from the alignment between coaching and management to the execution of plays and the adaptability of players in high-pressure situations. The interaction between leadership vision and on-field execution is critical, as each decision, whether regarding roster adjustments, trades, or player development, shapes the team's short-term results and long-term prospects. Additionally, the Raiders' season has been influenced by external factors such as opposing defenses, quarterback matchups, and situational challenges in games. Preparing for these elements demands thorough analysis, strategic flexibility, and the ability to make real-time adjustments that can determine the outcome of close contests. The interplay of injuries, coaching philosophy, and player readiness underscores the complexity of managing a professional football team, highlighting the importance of communication, trust, and decision-making across all levels of the organization. As the Raiders continue through the 2025 season, fans can expect a mixture of triumphs and challenges, shaped by how effectively the leadership team navigates internal disagreements, player health considerations, and strategic planning. The decisions made now will not only impact the remainder of the current season, but could also set the tone for future years, influencing the identity, performance, and competitiveness of the Las Vegas Raiders. Each game, trade, and roster adjustment contributes to a broader story of adaptation, resilience, and the quest for alignment within an organization striving to balance immediate performance with long-term success, all while under the scrutiny of passionate fans who are deeply invested in the team's journey and outcomes. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The city of Las Vegas has been buzzing with speculation ever since Quinnen Williams arrived on the Strip, and insiders suggest the Raiders' defensive line could be entering a new era of dominance. The young defensive tackle, known for his explosive first step and relentless motor, reportedly touched down with an aura of confidence that immediately caught the attention of both fans and analysts alike. Rumors are already swirling around the team's headquarters about how Williams might reshape the defensive front, with whispers that his presence alone could elevate the unit to elite status overnight. Those close to the organization hint that Williams is not only ready to make an impact on the field, but is also embracing a leadership role, guiding a group of talented players who have struggled to reach their full potential in recent seasons. The Raiders' defensive line, a unit often overshadowed by the glitz of Las Vegas, may finally have the centerpiece it has been searching for. Observers are particularly intrigued by reports that Williams is already involved in practice planning, seemingly taking on responsibilities that extend well beyond the typical rookie adjustment period. Speculation is rife about how his arrival could influence the team's defensive schemes. Some suggest that his combination of strength and agility might allow coordinators to experiment with more aggressive pass-rushing formations, potentially putting opposing quarterbacks under pressure like never before. Meanwhile, the locker room chatter points to a growing excitement among teammates, with several veterans reportedly impressed by Williams' work ethic and intensity from the very first day. Social media has been ablaze, too, with fans debating how Williams' presence might change the dynamics of the Raiders' matchups this season. Betting markets, analysts, and rival teams are all said to be keeping a close eye, with many quietly acknowledging that the defensive line could become a major talking point in the league if the rumors hold true. Vegas insiders aren't shy about suggesting that the Raiders may finally have the kind of disruptive defensive force that can shift games and redefine expectations. While nothing is official beyond his arrival, the buzz around Quinnen Williams is impossible to ignore. Every movement he makes, every practice rep, seems to feed a growing narrative that the Raiders' defensive line is on the cusp of transformation, and the rumors suggest it might start with one name, Quinnen Williams. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.